Today is Monday, December 27th, 2021. The following are the important articles that we have to read for competitive exams from the Hindu newspaper. The first article for today is Will not bring back farm laws tomorrow. This is according to our Union Agriculture Minister. Just an informative article. Try to read it from that perspective. Executive shows a trend to disrespect court orders, CJI. This is in a lieu of a long battle between the central government, that is the executive, and the judiciary in terms of appointments, in terms of executing the orders that the courts have issued, not only in central government level but also at state government level. So from that perspective, you have to trace that entire track or thread of back and forth between the government and the courts in our country. That is how you approach this article. This will give you an example as to how differences are existing between executive and judiciary, whereas the constitution envisions a cohesive environment between the executive, judiciary. Moving on to the next article, anti-apartheid icon Desmond Tutu dies. Try to understand the role that Desmond Tutu played in removing apartheid from South Africa and the subsequent Nobel Peace Prize. The next article is Nagaland panel to look into AFSPA withdrawal. As I said, be aware of what AFSPA is, why it was bought in the first place, what has been the opposition to it, what has been the problems with it, and also the advantages of having AFSPA in northeastern states. Try to get a 360-degree perspective from that. Coming to page number 6, editorial, the elderly are assets, not dependents. This is about elderly care, the importance of elderly care, what is the current scenario in our country. From that perspective, very, very important. Please do read this article. A chance to tap India's high equity in Myanmar. This explores the India-Myanmar relations given the current and recent developments in Myanmar. Not only that, the regional developments that has been taking place with the encroachment of the Chinese into Indian territories. So you have to link this up with that. Not only that, the recent ambush attacks on Indian armed forces from terror organizations originating from Myanmar. Very important, do not miss it. Coming to OpEd, page number 7, Iran nuclear talks reverberate in the Gulf. This is in regards to the energy crisis that is deepening in Gulf Cooperation of Council, where there are differences between whether nuclear power should be, whether Iran should be allowed to develop nuclear weapons or not. Which again, a lot of imbalances will be created if that happens. So not only in the region but also around the world. So from that perspective, try to read this article. Prevention is better than cure. This is about again healthcare. Any information regarding healthcare is going to be a point of importance for us for our exams. So this particularly talks about the need for outpatient healthcare coverage, which at the end of the day reduces the burden on the individuals, that is the citizens, and not only that, the government at the tail end of it. Very important, very sequential, very society oriented. So from that perspective, do read this article. Coming to page number 8, deeply regret loss of lives in Nagaland, says Army. So try to understand what the incident has taken place. Apart from it, don't even go into it. The fallout is far more important because this recent mistake has reignited the discussion on the need for AFSPA or the removal of AFSPA in northeastern states. India hands over food aid defense equipment to Mozambique. Map pointing perspective, what has been in the relation between India and Mozambique, how India had played a crucial role in helping Mozambique during certain crises. From that perspective, read this article. Mozambique becomes unimportant because of the Chinese aggression or growth in African states. From that perspective, very important. Coming to page number 10, news, be alert and disciplined to fight pandemic, says PM. So this is again an update from the Prime Minister or a speech from the Prime Minister talking about the new Omicron variant and how India is expected to tackle it. Informative, just to be aware of what is taking place from the executive side. Coming to world, page number again, Tutu fought who fought for a rainbow nation dies at 90. So again, the role he played in weeding out apartheid from South Africa. Not only that, emancipation of African nations in some cases. So from that perspective, try to get an basic understanding of the role of Tutu. And is there any Indian connection? That is something that you have to look for. Taliban regime imposes more curbs on women. This is again an update, not important for exam. Just be aware of what is taking place in Afghanistan. So coming to the most important articles of this paper, Chinese ambassador Q's visit to Jaffna sparks concern in Sri Lanka. So this is a very significant development in terms of our neighbor. So very important Chinese interference in Sri Lankan internal affairs. Not only that, meddling into India-Lanka relations. Israel plans to double settlement in Golan Heights. Map pointing view. Historically, what is Golan Heights? How it is significant for multiple faiths? From that perspective, read it. So coming back to the important track, that is India-Sri Lanka relation. Sri Lanka to sign a Trinco deal with India soon. So the specific the deals might not be important, but what would be the potential gain for India? Not only gain for India but also for Sri Lanka while signing this deal. How it has been problematic. Again, link up with the above article and this article both and try to understand what China is trying to do there and how China has been able to gain an upper hand in Sri Lanka. Now, moving on to page number 12. The article itself is not important, but the concept or the idea or the thought of G-Sex is very important. Try to learn what G-Sex are. A lot of discussion has been taking about G-Sex, and G-Sex is something which the RBI is promoting very much with interest. So try to learn what G-Sex are. And coming to text and context. So India's vaccination program for minors, just informative whether it is valid or not, what is the scientific basis for it, what is the current scenario with other countries. From that perspective, read the article. So the most important article for today's text and context is the India Out campaign in Maldives. There was recently an article where the Hindu went with point by point analysis of what the India Out campaign is, that editorial, and try to link up with this article. This is a good explanation. You'll get the basics of it, but at the end of the day, don't get dragged into the entire discussion. Just be aware of the critical points as to why and who is promoting the India Out campaign in Maldives. So these are the important articles for today's paper. Thank you. Please do share this video, like this video, and do subscribe to the channel. Sharing will help the channel a lot. Thank you. Stay safe. Namaste.